Good morning from Sridham Mayapur, beginning our program today. Hare Krishna. The devotees watching on Facebook, I encourage you to go to Zoom. The sound is better, I've heard too. So, try. Shri Guru Nitai Gaur Jaya Madhava Jaya Kunja Jaya Madhava Jaya Gopi Janna Vallabha Jaya Girivardhari Jaya Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Janna Vallabha Jaya Girivardhari Jaya Girivardhari Yashodanandana Jaya Braja Janaranjana Jaya Braja Janaranjana Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Braja Janaranjana Jaya Jamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Jaya Jamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Jamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Jamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Narayanam namaskrityam naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udiraye vede ramayanishchaiva purane varute tata adhavante chamadye chahari saratchudiyate mukam kodari vachalam vangam Jayate Girim Yet Kripa Tamaham Vande Shri Guru Nataranam Paramananda Madhava Paramananda He Madhava Padunda Luchi Makaranda Se Makaranda Panakori Anande Bolo Hari Hari Haringa Name Vanduvela Harinkori Vechakadola Se chakadolanka paraye manamo rahu nirantare manamo nirantare rahu ha Krishna boli jiva jao ha Krishna boli jao jiva mote dara radha dava Motiu dada radha dava Motiu dada radha dava Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya 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 Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Good morning from Sridham Mayapur, devotees. This is our daily katha for Srimad Bhagavatam, because our revered spiritual master instructed us that if you don't do any other sadhana, every day you should have discussion of Srimad Bhagavatam. So if you haven't already, I've encouraged devotees to tune into YouTube. I just pasted in a link there. You could paste it into your browser and you'll get better sound quality. And I'll be able to see your face live if you turn on the video. And you can make comments. So reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. This is the third canto, chapter 29, text number 9. This chapter is called The Explanation of Devotional Service by Lord Kapila. Vishayana Visandhaya Yasa Aishvaryam Evava Archadav Archayad Yomam Pritak Bhava Surajasam. Translation: the worship of deities in the temple by a separatist with a motive for material enjoyment, fame, and opulence is devotion in the mode of passion. Srila Prabhupada writes in his purport, the word separatist must be understood carefully. The Sanskrit words in this connection are bhinadrik and pritag bhava. A separatist is one who sees his interest as separate from that of the Supreme Lord. Mixed devotees, or devotees in the modes of passion and ignorance, think that the interest of the Supreme Lord is supplying the orders of the devotee. The interest of such devotees is to draw from the Lord as much as possible for their sense gratification. This is a separatist mentality. Actually, pure devotion, as explained in the previous chapter, the mind of the Supreme Lord and the mind of the devotee should be dovetailed. A devotee should not wish for anything but execute the desire of the Supreme. That is oneness. When a devotee has an interest or will different from the interest of the Supreme Lord, his mentality is that of a separatist. When the so-called devotee desires material enjoyment without reference to the interests of the Supreme Lord, or he wants to become famous or opulent by utilizing the mercy or grace of the Supreme Lord, he is in the mode of passion. We're going to stop there, although this is only about halfway through the purport. And I think because this is such a big topic today, we're going to spread this out for at least 2 and possibly 3 classes. Gora Gruganya Gana Gocha Goloruharam Goranga Gudatama Gopyada Kolpa Briksham Gopala Gada Ratidam Yati Singha Gora Govinda Deshikavaram Satatam Namami Vanchakolpaturu Bhishchan Kripa Sindhu Bhyevachan Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, this section of the Bhagavatam, Lord Kapila Deva is speaking about what is pure bhakti and what is not pure bhakti. And it's important, it's very important that we should understand the difference between the two. Pure bhakti is something which is means that it's simply for the pleasure of Krishna. Anukulyena Krishnanu. For the pleasure of Krishna, Srila Prabhupada says here in his purport. And Prabhupada says that there are some people, however, who are binadrik, or as in yesterday's verse, or as in today's verse, pritag bhava. They're separatists. And they see something separate from their own benefit from the pleasure of the Lord. And therefore, their bhakti is described here as rajasa, or in the mode of passion. And such a person has 3 motivations, because understand that when we speak about bhakti or devotion, we speak about relationships, it's all based on motivation. What do you want? What is your purpose? So here it says there's 3 types of persons who are abhisandaya, who are aiming at vishai, or sense enjoyment. And second, yasa, to become famous. Very good. And the third is aishvarja, or to become an opulent person. These are 3 motivations for rajarsic bhaktas, or devotees who, in the mode of passion, they're anartha yukta vasta, as our Guru Maharaj would say. They're devotees who have anarthas in their heart, and therefore their darshan of the Lord, their darshan of Gurudev, their darshan, their view of all activities in bhakti is bhogya darshan. It means that they're seeing it for my pleasure, for one of these 3 motivations, subtly or grossly, that they want to enjoy some sense gratification. Therefore they think, if I go to the kirtan mela, some of the hottest girls are there in the world, and definitely I'll find a good-looking girl or a really hot guy. Or I'll go and I'll do my pure devotional service and I'll become very famous. Yasa. The most famous person in the world is Yashoda. Da means to give, yasa, or fame. So Yasoda, she gives her fame away to Krishna. She doesn't desire fame for herself because she's not a bhakta in this mode. And the third type of bhakta is someone who wants aishvarja, or opulence. It's also described in Brihanaradiya Purana, in the canto, first canto in chapter 15, about the nature of, he says there's described there are three types of rajarsic bhaktas. Dhanadiyadikam yastu pratyanyan archayed varim shraddhaya paraya yukta sa rajasyadhama smita. Someone who has some faith in the Lord, shraddhaya, and they're worshiping the Lord, but dhanadiyadikam yastu, they're desiring some wealth, they're desiring some grains and other things that bhakti bring. That person is the Adama Rajarshik Bhakta. He's the worst. He's the lowest of all the bhaktas. And this is a Vishaya Rajarshik Bhakta. He's someone who wants some wealth and comfort. And he thinks, and we, even in our society, we cater to such persons. You come here and we'll give you nice arrangement, nice facility. Srila Prabhupada wanted a, what he called the American house to be established in Vrindavan. And he said it can be a very comfortable place. There should be a bank there. There should be nice, comfortable rooms. And at one point he said even they can come and they can smoke cigarettes there. Because there's some people who have this motivation for bhakti. And that's okay. Let them practice that. But we should understand the fault in it. And we should ultimately give it up. The Madhyam Rajarsik Bhakta is described in the Brihanaradiya Purana. Ya sarva lokya vikyata kirtir mudishya madhavam archayat paraya bhaktya samadhya rajasi mata. In this verse, a particular word uses kirti. Kirti is a synonym for yasa, meaning fame. So, ya sarvalokya vikyata kirti. I want to be famous all over the world. I will live stream on Facebook. And if it becomes viral, if it goes viral, if we get thousands of hits or maybe even over 1 million hits, then my life will be perfect. Sometimes devotees, I've had devotees tell me, well, Prabhu, of course we want to be humble, but to be able to preach, you have to promote yourself. You have to, otherwise it just doesn't work. But then we have to ask a question, doesn't work for who? Doesn't work for what? What is your motivation? It doesn't work for Krishna. Krishna doesn't care if you're famous. It doesn't work for the devotees, for the sincere devotees. Or it doesn't work because you, by your material estimation, you're not successful. This is a very important thing. And Srila Prabhupada, we saw once in the New York Ratha Yatra. I don't remember, I think it was the last Ratha Yatra. What was that, 77? Prabhupada attended, maybe 76. One sannyasi disciple, Srila Prabhupada, had come to speak to him, and another so-called big sannyasi had just fallen down. Many sannyasis have fallen down. And he asked Srila Prabhupada about it, the sannyasi. And Prabhupada turned to him, this is in the Prabhupada memories, and Prabhupada said, actually, none of you are qualified for sannyas. Now, I don't think that means every single person, but and it's a broad way. He said, none of you are qualified for sannyas. He said, it is just like during wartime. You need to have some lieutenants, so you make everybody stand in a row, and you just count every fifth person to step forward, and he becomes a lieutenant. So, Srila Prabhupada saw that some devotees, they wanted this kirti, or this yasa, this fame, and that was their motivation largely, or at least partially, in their bhakti. And Srila Prabhupada encouraged them. And sometimes he would say things like, you are an incarnation, and you're the greatest of this or that. And Prabhupada would appreciate them so much from his heart, but also perhaps seeing that they had this particular desire. So this is the Madhyam Rajarsik Bhakta, someone who wants yasa or fame. The Uttam Rajarsik Bhakta, or the best amongst the passionate devotees, devotees who are in the mode of passion, who have some personal motivation like this, is described in the Brihadaranyaka Purana, in text 145. Salokyadi padam yastu, samud dishyart chadedyarim, sarajas yuttama bhakti kirtita pritipipyate. That someone, they want to go, they want salokyadi padam yastu. Padam means to attain. Salokyadi, they want to attain, they want to get the same planet as Krishna. It'd be pretty good, wouldn't it? Be able to go to be with Krishna and play with him and do so many things. So that's also a passionate desire. It's a personal desire. As Srila Prabhupada describes in his purport for this verse today, we'll read again, that it's a separatist mentality. A devotee should not wish anything but simply to execute the desire of the Supreme. That is oneness. So these three types of Rajasic bhaktas are described. We can understand that many times people, they have some motivation in their bhakti. And it's because of this motivation, this motivated religious principles or motivated religious persons, that religion gets a bad name. People, they want to be famous, they want some money, and you can smell it. It's a really, really uncomfortable thing. In the Bhagavad Gita, in the 17th chapter, Krishna speaks about different types of persons who perform penance. And in the 18th verse, he says that someone who does it in the mode of passion, spoken about in this verse today, he says, Satkara manapujartam tapo dhambenakchaiva yat kriyate tadiha proktam rajasam chalam adruvam. That when someone does some tapa or austerity, some penance out of pride, for the sake of gaining respect, honor, and worship, that person's in a mode of passion. And it's neither stable nor permanent. And so we've seen this also with devotees in our own society, sometimes who come with some motivation like that. Their worship is not stable, it's not permanent. They want something for themselves. Srila Prabhupada writes in his purport, he says, sometimes penance and austerity are executed to attract people and receive honor, respect, and worship from others. Sometimes that's our motivation. Persons in the mode of passion arrange to be worshipped by subordinates and let them wash their feet and offer riches, of course, for their benefit of the subordinates, of course. Prabhupada says, such arrangements artificially made by the performance of penances are considered to be in the mode of passion. The results are temporary. They can continue for some time, but they are not permanent. In a similar way, in chapter 3 of the Nectar Devotion, Prabhupada says, anyone who has any desire or aspiration for satisfying his senses by becoming more and more important, either in the material sense or in the spiritual sense, cannot actually relish the really sweet taste of devotional service. It's not possible for such a person. So this is the nature of bhakti in the mode of passion. And such a person, they think the purpose of bhakti is to become famous. Bhaktivinoda Thakur speaks about this in Harinam Chintamani in the 4th chapter. He says, Krishnaika saranagatai sadhu lakshana apanake sadhu boliya parichai deoya dambikata. He says that to take shelter, Krishnaika saranagati sadhu lakshana, to take shelter of Krishna is a principal symptom of a sadhu. And he says, sadhu boliya parichai deoya dambikataya. That someone who's claiming to be a sadhu, that's just arrogance. Someone who's really a sadhu, they won't do that. It's not necessary. In Bhaktivinoda, he sings, Krishnaika Sharana Matra Krishna Nama Gai Sadhu Name Parichitta Krishnera Kripai. Hey, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Krishnaika Sharana Matra As soon as you surrender to Krishna, then what happens, Krishna Nama Gaya, you begin to chant Krishna's names. And then something happens. It's just like you go and you sit down on a conveyor belt. You're not moving, but it just starts carrying you. I remember when I moved into the LA temple, I was very enthusiastic. Satchitananda Prabhu may remember. I was an animal that was living in a cave. I was a caveman before I joined. And when I came to the temple, I would jump up and down and dance very enthusiastically. And I'd been a new bhakta for about 3 days. And one of the other new bhaktas, who was a senior devotee to me because he'd been there for 2 weeks, he told me that, wow, you are so advanced. I can see you're going to become a sannyasi and a GBC and maybe a guru someday. So, wow, just see. I hadn't thought about that. That wasn't why I joined. But they're telling me this. So when you begin to chant Krishna's name, something happens. Sadhu nami parichitta Krishna de kripai. By the mercy of Krishna, you become famous. And everyone says, wow, she's the biggest book distributor in all of St. Petersburg. Almost a pure devotee, such a great personality. Bhaktivinoda says, Krishna Bhakta Vyatita Nahika Sadhua Ami Sadhu Boli Hoy Damba Avatar Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram. Krishna Bhakta Vyatita Nahiko Sadhua. No one is more entitled to be called a sadhu than a devotee of Krishna. But someone who says, Ami sadhu boli. Someone who says, I'm a sadhu. You should know, hoy, Damba avatar. They're just the incarnation of arrogance and pride. They're not really a sadhu. Chanakya Pandit says a nice couple things in this regard. Swahasta gratitamala swahasta grishta chandanam swahasta likitam stotram sakrasyapi sriyam haret. He says that even Indra loses his fame, his glory, if he wears a garland that he made himself. He decided, I should wear a garland when I live stream on Facebook, otherwise people won't really take me seriously, because all the big Maharajas, they have a real nice garland too. So I'll spend a few hours making that garland and put it on myself, so everybody will know. But even Indra loses his glories if he wears a garland that he's worn himself. Or chandanam, he puts some sandalwood paste on himself, so everybody knows. I mean, big sadhus have lots of chandan on their forehead. There's a lot of pictures of Prabhupada like that. So I'll also do the same. Or, swahastalikitam stotram, they write some verse to glorify themselves. Now I have many followers, it's time for me to think about becoming a guru. Of course, I don't really want it for myself, but otherwise, how will the mission go on unless I go ahead and do that? And just to show mercy to these poor, innocent, lucky followers of myself, I'll write a pranam mantra, glorifying myself, not because I want it, but so that for their benefit. Slahasa likitam stotam sakrasyapi sriyam haret. And in this way, sriyam haret, you lose all your shriya, all the glories that you get. The shriya is also a synonym for Srimati Radharani. It also means Lakshmi Devi. So therefore, she's Bhakti Devi. When we practice Bhakti, we get that shriya, we get that opulence of Bhakti that comes with Bhakti. But if someone uses that Bhakti, as we're hearing in this verse today, for one of these 3 reasons, then they'll lose whatever glory they've gotten. Chanakya goes on, Parai ukta guno yastu, nirguno pi guni bhavet, indropi lagutam yati swayam prakyat pitayar gunai. Even a person who doesn't have any good qualities becomes honorable if praised by others. If you don't believe me, look at the politicians in the world today. If you don't believe me, watch the movie stars and the rock stars. They have 0 good qualities. There's one rock star who comes to my mind. His biggest quality that he was famous for is he used to completely trash hotels. when they would travel, they would stay in some hotel room, and they would just break all the furniture and the walls and the mirror and everything. And people worshiped him for that. Wow, he's really cool. He does all like this. Completely useless person. But he becomes honorable if praised by others. And he says, but even a person who has many good qualities becomes dishonorable if he praises himself. So we should be careful. We should understand that this is a great obstacle in bhakti that we should avoid. We have to avoid this desire for pratishtha, this desire to become famous and well known. Let me see. We wanted to speak something about the Kesi demon in regards to this, but that topic is too big for us to go to today. So I think we'll do that on Wednesday. And it's a very, very interesting topic. I'll just tease you a little bit with it. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in both his Krishna Samhita and in his Chaitanya Siksamrita, he describes that a devotee naturally wants to go to Vrindavan. But on the way to Vrindavan, on that Vrindavan Marg, the road to Vrindavan, there are many obstacles. And he says these obstacles are represented by the different naimitic leelas, or occasional pastimes that take place in Vrindavan, such as killing the demons. And it's a big topic. In Krishna Samhita he says, Gota katma hatastena Kesi raja madasura maturam gantakamena krishnena kamsavarina. When Krishna, the enemy of Kamsa, decided to go to Mathura, the horse demon Kesi, who personifies the vanity of political ambition, was killed. So Kesi, he says, personifies the vanity of political ambition. And 3 chapters later, he also speaks about Kesi as well. In Chaitanya Siksamrita, Bhaktivinoda speaks about Kesi Vada, or the killing of Kesi, and he says it represents Ami Bodho Bhakta O Acharya, E Abhiman Aishvarja Buddhi O Parti Vahankara Varjana. The attitude, Ami Bodho Bhakta, I am a great devotee. I have more Facebook friends than you. I had 20 people watch my video. I'm almost an incarnation. So this attitude, Ami Bodho Bhakta, O Acharya, and I am an Acharya. I am a great teacher in our line. E Abhiman. This kind of attitude, this Abhiman, this kind of mentality. Aishvarja Buddhi, Buddhi means mentality. 3 synonyms used on this by Bhaktivinoda for this, very similar things. Abhiman, Buddhi, and Ahankar. When he speaks about Kesi, Kesi has all 3 of these things. He has this Abhiman, he has this Buddhi, this Aishvarja Buddhi that I want to enjoy something, some opulence. And he has this Ahankar, this false ego, that I am the Parthiva. Parthiva literally means the king of the Lord of the earth. I am the Lord of the earth. Parthiva Ahankara Varjana. This has to be driven out. So we'd like to speak something about this pastime of Kesi. I think we'll do that tomorrow, but we'll just give a little introduction to it. We want to speak something about how Kesi represents a bhakta in the mode of passion. And why is that? Because Kesi, when he enters into Vrindavan, first of all, he's not invited to Vrindavan. He doesn't go to Vrindavan with a devotee. He doesn't go to Vrindavan with an attitude, a humble attitude to render service. Rather, Kesi goes running into Vrindavan, and he's making a huge noise as he's coming into Vrindavan. And he terrorizes all the residents of Vrindavan. In the same way that sometimes people enter into Krishna consciousness or enter into spiritual life, they go running in and they make a lot of noise. Here I am, it's me. And then all the sincere devotees become very frightened. Oh my God, What's happened? We had such a nice Sangha before, and now this person's running in and wanting to advertise himself like anything. And who is Kesi sent by? Kesi is sent by Kamsa. Kamsa represents the head of mundane religion, and Kesi is one of his chelas. So how Kesi met Kamsa? What does the word Kesi mean? And what is the significance of Krishna's killing Kesi in our own bhajan? We'd like to speak something about that tomorrow. It's a very big topic. But Kesi represents this pride of being a devotee. And he's an external person. So such persons, they're described by Bhaktivinoda, they want to be an acharya. Prabhupada writes in his purport to Adi Lila chapter 1, text 146, he says, the spiritual master is also called acharya, or a transcendental professor of spiritual science. The Manu Samhita explains the duties of an acharya, describing that a bona fide spiritual master accepts charge of disciples. It's a responsibility. It's a service. He teaches them Vedic knowledge with all its intricacies and gives them their second birth. He goes on to say, in the Vayu Purana, an acharya is defined as one who knows the import of Vedic literatures, abides by their rules and regulations, small point, by the way, lives by those things. Acharya means literally someone who's living by their achar, who teaches by their behavior, and teaches his disciples to act in the same way. Only out of his immense compassion does the personality of Godhead reveal himself as a spiritual master, this is Prabhupada saying. Therefore, in the dealings of an acharya, there are no activities but those of transcendental loving service to the Lord. He is the supreme personality of servitor Godhead. Such a person, we titled this discussion today, Bhakti in Passion, Pride, and Pride, self-appointed acharyas, and the Kesi demon. But actually, there's no such thing as a self-appointed acharya. Because acharya means Krishna's representative. And Krishna appoints such a person. So all these debates that we have, and all these very important, can this person be guru? Can this gender be guru? Can this and that? In one sense, it really doesn't mean anything. Because we don't appoint guru, and you can't appoint yourself as guru. When Krishna wants someone to be acharya or guru, by their self-effulgence, they'll attract persons. And this was Srila Prabhupada's statement, that guru means someone who's self-effulgent. Prabhupada goes on to say in his purport, if one poses himself as an acharya, like Kesi, it's coming into Vrindavan, coming into the association of the devotees, running in like a big, big person, and he's just breaking everything. In the Harivamsa Purana, it says that Kesi was not even a vegetarian. In fact, it says that he was eating some of the residents of Vrindavan, which no doubt, as Jiva Goswami says in Laghu Vaishnav Toshani, doesn't mean the devotees. In Laghu Vaishnav Toshani, he raises the question, how is it possible that Putana came and killed so many of the children, the daughters and sons of the Brijbasis? And Jiva Goswami says, no, he didn't. She didn't. She didn't kill any of them. The only persons that she killed were the sons and daughters of the followers of Kamsa, because Krishna tricked her. So, because the Brijbasis are always protected by Krishna. Prabhupada goes on in his purport. If one poses himself as an acharya, but does not have an attitude of servitorship to the Lord, he must be considered an offender. And this offensive attitude disqualifies him from being an acharya. The bona fide spiritual master always engages in unalloyed devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By this test, he is known to be a direct manifestation of the Lord and a genuine representative of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. Such a spiritual master is known as Acharya Dev. Influenced by an envious temperament and dissatisfied because of an attitude of sense gratification, mundaners criticize a real acharya. In fact, however, a bona fide acharya is non-different from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore to envy such an acharya is to envy the personality of God in himself. This will produce an effect subversive of transcendental realization. So such external persons are like Kesi. Ami Bodho Bhakta O Acharya. I am a great devotee, and they're using bhakti in this way to be famous as a great devotee and to be an acharya. And one of the ways they want to become an acharya is described in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Shastra Yuktya Suni Puna Dvida Shraddha Jare Uttama Adhikari Se Tadaye Samsara Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Ram. This verse describes who is an Uttama Adhikari. Wow, I'd like to be famous as an Uttama Adhikari. Then everybody will give me respect. This is Kesi. Ami Bodho Bhakta Acharya. In Shastra Yukta Sunipan, it says there that if you know Shastra Yukta, and Prabhupada translates it that you're expert in argument. Then you can be an Uttama Adhikari. So what is all this hard work of going out and distributing books every day and getting insulted by so many ignorant people who don't recognize me by the great personality that I am? Why should I do like that? Instead, it's a very simple thing. I'll tell you a simple formula if you want to know a secret. Go, bring your money, and go to Lloyd Bazaar. There's a nice bookstore there. Russ Biharilal Sons, my friend Alok, has that shop. And you go in and you buy lots of books. And you can buy books like Ujjvala Nilamani with commentaries by Jiva Goswami and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. And you don't even have to read the whole book, but just read a little bit and write it down and memorize something. And then when you give class, everybody will say, wow, they've become so advanced. They'll probably tell you should start giving class on Facebook Live. And you'll be famous as a devotee. Why should I work so hard and go out and be insulted by ignorant, stupid people who don't recognize my greatness? Let me memorize a few verses and things. Such a person is simply cheating. And such persons, they think that by debate, then I'll establish myself as a great devotee. Because debate means that's how you understand you're a great devotee. But that debate is in a mode of passion. The Vaishnavas, they don't want to debate. Narada Bhakti Sutra describes, if you want to develop bhakti, then vado navalambhya. Don't indulge in argumentative debate. The Vedanta Sutra describes tarka pratistanat, that debate is inconclusive. So many statements are there in this regard. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur spoke about this extensively. We have to give up the attitude of wanting to do debate. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he says in his commentary on Upadeshamrita, debate arises only from a desire for conquest. This is Kesi. From a desire for conquest. It is extremely abominable. Fault-finding arises only from imposing one's own bad habits on others. What a statement. Let's read that again. Fault-finding arises only from imposing one's own bad habits on others. The bad qualities that you see in someone else are what they come from you. Bhaktivinoda says this should be given up in all respects. Speaking falsehoods is another form of useless talk. Worldly talk is completely rejected by renounced devotees. Householders may accept some worldly talk that is favorable to devotional service. But this debate, and so many people, even in our society, they think if you can debate, it means you're a great devotee. Maybe tomorrow we'll speak more about this, about debate also. And there's a wonderful story about how Ramanuja was basically defeated once by a pundit whose name was Yagyamurti. And we'll hear something about that tomorrow, and if we have time with Kesi also. So I'm going to stop there. I want to thank everybody very much for taking part. And so if anybody has any reflections or comments, Madhupati Prabhu, you know Madhupati Prabhu, I'll tell you something. I'm not a very good bhakta. I'm not very good at live streaming. I discovered a better way to live stream with this microphone if you turn it on. And it works so much better. So I tried that today and it's working much better. Could we please refer the sources of the shlokas about these three types of devotees? Yes, Brihanardiya Purana, Canto 1, chapter what? Let's look here. Chapter 15. I'll just paste it in here. It's Brihanaradiya Purana, Canto 1, Chapter 15, texts 143 to 145. Text 15, 143 to 145, but I don't think you're going to find this anywhere. It's not published anywhere that I know of. Okay. Madhupati Prabhu, Hari Krishna, Brajabanita, Mala Frank, Advaita Chandra Prabhu, Radhika Radha from Braj. That's wonderful. Naveen. Okay. And someone named Sasha from St. Petersburg is here also. Mitravinda Devi Dasi, Hari Krishna, Mahendra, Hari Krishna Prabhu. This topic is so relevant and very important topic to contemplate on. We have a lot more coming up tomorrow or Wednesday about this same thing. Thank you, Mitravinda, for making all these comments and reflections. Sasha has made a nice comment. Alexander Valentina. Men who are like dogs, hogs, camels, and asses, praise those men who never listen to the transcendental pastimes of Lord Sri Krishna, delivered from evils. Excellent comment. No, it won't be tomorrow, Madhupati Prabhu. We'll have our private talk tomorrow evening if you want to be there, Indian time. But next class will be on Wednesday, and we'll continue it from there. Question from Mani Gopal Prabhu, our saintly Mani Gopal. What is the best or effective way to get rid of or be free from the desire of this false prestige? So this is described by Raghunath Das Goswami in his, 6th verse, I think, in Manasiksha. What is it? Patista sadrishta sapacharamani me hridinatet katam sadhu prema spisati suchar etan anumana. What's the next? Sadatvam sevasva prabhudayita samanta matulam ita itam sahitam sayatisa. So that when we render service to those pure devotees, that's when we can become free from that pratishta. Otherwise, this pratishta ruins everything. He says, Sadatvam sevasva. You should always render this service, not just once in a while, because that's the nature of the mode of passion. Prabhupada saying, sometimes people, they even make a big show out of service, and they do big service. They collect more money than anybody else in the marathon. But it doesn't continue, because they had some motivation, some passionate motivation for yasa, to be famous, and maybe because they're going to keep some of that collection for themselves or something. So that pratishta, it's a drishta supachani ramani. It's like a very, drishta is a nice word. It means for someone who's very outrageous or audacious. It's like an outcast woman who's a dog eater, and she's dancing in my heart, this desire for fame, which comes from the bhakti and the mode of passion. He says the cure for that is sadatvam seva so prabhudayita samantamatam. We have to serve those devotees who are the commanders. Samanta means that they're prabhudayita samanta. They're the beloved commanders in Krishna's army. And sadatvam sevasva, we always should render service to them. And that implies that by rendering that, those devotees may chastise us, because that's the real mercy of such a devotee. By their chastisement, then we'll become free from that pratishta. Omkar Yimul's commented, Prabhuji, when our Krishna consciousness is challenged, then what should we do? Is our defending correct? I don't know what you mean exactly, but if someone comes and says, you're not really Krishna conscious, then I have to raise my hand and say, you're absolutely correct. Somehow in the last, 15 years, we're kind of in the circle of preachers in ISKCON, and we travel, and I hear from different devotees, and sometimes preachers, they say, such and such temple, they didn't want me to come. And sometimes their followers say, that's a great offense. They didn't want Gurudev to go there. But I comment to those devotees that when that happens to me, I think, Oh, they're very intelligent. If they don't want me to come, why should I be offended? It means that they're smart. They understand what a fallen rascal that I am. Why should I push myself forward? And I can say for myself very honestly, since 1982, when we moved into the temple, we still haven't actually joined Krishna consciousness yet because we're not Krishna conscious, but since we moved into the temple, I don't recall ever pushing myself forward to give class or anything. But when people ask, when they request, then we do it. And Guru Maharaj once told me that if someone asks you to speak, you must. Because I told him I was afraid to go one place where they were asking me to speak. And he said, no, they ask you to speak, you must. But when you speak, you just repeat what you've heard from your guru in the previous acaryas. And then he jammed his finger in my chest and said, don't think it belongs to you. So if we can give up that attitude thinking it belongs to us, then we won't be in the mode of passion. If someone challenges our Krishna consciousness, we bow our head. Okay, fine. It's described in the Padma Purana, the ninth offense of the holy name, Ashadadani Vimuke Pashanvati Yaschopadesha Shiva Nama Paradha. If someone is Ashadadan, they don't have faith in me. If someone is Vimuk, they're reluctant to hear from me. Why should I want to go there? Why should I want to speak to them? It's just some sense gratification. It's complete nonsense. It's like Kesi, uninvited, running into Vrindavan in the association of devotees and making a big noise and presenting himself as a big person. Why should I do that? So I don't know if I understand your question properly. I hope that helps some. We'll stop there. And it's a little late, but Sachitanapa, do you want to comment something? Why don't you take this mic, which is now turned on, so it'll work better.
Really quick, maybe. You were talking about debates. So debate, this is my understanding, it has a place. For example, when Srila Bhaktisiddhanta went to establish the Siddhanta of the Apasampradayas, he went there to actually explain about what a real Vaishnava is, what a real Brahmana is, and that was the beginning of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, but he couldn't do it because he was sick. So he carried on with that in debates. So we know that Gauranga Mahaprabhu, as Nimai, he used to have as a pastime debating, and they will even run away from him. So can you maybe expand a little bit this and explain that yes, debate has its place?
Sanatana Goswami synthesizes this point nicely in Brihad Bhagavatamrita. He says that same thing, that debate or argument, logic like this, is like thorns, which devotees don't want to push in the soft heart of bhakti. They're not interested in that. But he says sometimes, for the benefit of innocent persons, innocent bystanders, they may take part in that debate. And I'm quite sure for his own personal benefit, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati wasn't interested to go and debate and defeat and become famous like that. We can say a lot more about debate maybe tomorrow. But sometimes the devotees, they do that for the benefit of a conditioned soul. Srila Prabhupada did it for that purpose. Otherwise, Prabhupada can stay in Vrindavan and just do his nam bhajan. What's the necessity of establishing yourself as a big person? So Omkar went on, he said that he meant when Krishna consciousness is considered wrong by other people. Yes, if someone, an outside person, says, oh, your humility is wrong, or your practice is wrong of chanting the holy names, or why are you people vegetarian? Why do you offer your food to a picture, a deity? I don't accept that. Then you ask, is defending it correct? Well, it depends. It depends on the person. If the person is just a really agitated, ignorant person who's not going to listen to you, then it's like having a conversation with a pit bulldog that has AIDS. It has no meaning. You can talk to the dog all you want. All that's going to happen is you're going to get bit, and you're not going to convince that pit bulldog. But if there's some hope, if the person's a little bit, if it's more of a vada, there's three types of discussions, vada, jalpa, and vitanda. If it's a vada discussion in the mode of goodness and they'll listen to you, then yes, you can defend, you should defend. But if it's jalpa in the mode of passion, and the person just wants to be heard and they don't really give a damn what you have to say, Why talk to them? Just nod your head. Yes, yes, very good. You're very intelligent. Or if it's in a mode of ignorance, vitanda, which is characterized by the quality that they just want to win an argument, and they'll say any damn thing they can just to win their argument. Why waste time with such a person? But if there's a sincere person standing nearby who may be confused by them, then we may enter into some debate. Madhu Puji's commented, associating with a personality is free from pratista and genuine executing bhakti will help us in making real progress in the devotional path. Is it a correct understanding? If so, could you please shed some light with some examples? Yes, we have so many examples. We have thousands, hundreds and thousands of examples all over the world of devotees who come to Krishna consciousness, who had material desires to be famous, but after some time of associating with Srila Prabhupada and advanced Vaishnavas, they gave up those desires. They gave up that attitude. We have the example of Dhruva Maharaj, who wanted to become a big person and wanted a kingdom greater than his grandfather, Lord Brahma. But when he had association with Narad Muni, by the mercy of Narad Muni, he had darshan of the Lord. And then when he had darshan of the Lord, he gave all that up. I hope that helps some. Hare Krishna Bani, nice to see you here. You have a new picture that looks cool. Okay, thank you. So, Anupayani, you want to make any of your famous comments? Okay. Krishna.
Thank you so much for this topic and thank you for explanation. Does it mean, this bhakti in passion? Because externally, for example, when I'm reading this verse, I can say, maybe it's not about me. Yeah. But when you look at this bhakti in passion in a more elaborate way, it definitely seems that somehow or other you are there. And I would like to hear about this Kesi story more. It's really just waiting for this. And I like this verse about Damba Avatar. That if you claim you're sadhu, so you just incarnation of arrogance. And I was thinking that to claim yourself sadhu, it's not just you come and in front of everybody say, "So I'm a sadhu." So it has many subtle things. So and we should be really careful and see in our heart how we are acting toward others and how these things manifested in our life. And this is, thank you so much for this. And also I like the statement that Guru is self-effulgent, so he attracts people. No need to advertise yourself. It means that Krishna will arrange. If you're a really qualified person, it just no need to do this kind of things. Thank you so much.
Yes. Sometimes there are Vaishnavas, as we're hearing from Lord Kapiladev, who have this passion, and her abhina drik, they have this separatist attitude. In other words, they don't depend on Krishna, and they extend that separatist attitude toward their guru. They think that I'm going to make Gurudev famous. I'm going to promote Gurudev. I'm going to go and push Gurudev. I liken it just like to someone who's sitting on the bank of the Ganga one morning waiting to see the sunrise. And some person comes in front of them, stands right in front of them so they can't see anything, and starts jumping up and down and saying, "The sunrise is so wonderful, the sunrise is so great, it's so wonderful." And finally the person said, "Would you mind just getting out of the way so I can see the sun for myself?" So what is it? What is this? I'm going to glorify Guru in this way. Guru is glorified by behaving properly. Otherwise it said, Gopayad Guru Matmana. We should hide our Guru. We shouldn't advertise. Krishna Kunj, do you have something?
First, a quick comment on what Anupayani had just said, that you don't need, a preacher doesn't need to advertise themselves. Acaryas are self-manifest, they are not made, as Gurudev would put it. And it just reminded me of what you started the class with about Mother Yashoda, how Yashoda means that she's giving away her fame to Krishna, and by that she becomes the most famous. And the other thing is that I kind of marked for myself as a big warning. You were quoting Bhagavad Gita, what is it, 17, 18, I think it is, that penances, austerities in the mode of passion are neither stable nor permanent. And then right afterwards, actually, you quoted something from Nectar of Devotion where Srila Prabhupada says that... Sorry? Third chapter of Nectar of Devotion, where Srila Prabhupada says that if anyone has a desire to gratify their senses by becoming more and more important, either in the material or in the spiritual sense, such a person cannot actually relish the taste of pure devotional service. And this is so important because these two are closely connected. You cannot, if you're doing something out of passion and you think that you are doing it for Krishna, but if the motivation is wrong, you don't get taste, and therefore it will not be stable or permanent. You will go away, you will stop practicing because it wasn't for Krishna. And as Kapila Shiksha, in Kapila Shiksha actually, well, it's not in Kapila Shiksha, it's Prahlad Maharaj. In the Bhagavatam anyway, there is that verse where it says that Krishna actually doesn't accept that because it was not meant for him, so why should he accept it?
And such big personalities in the society, they won't be able to do big service for a little while. Prabhupada quoted a poem once. He said about Hanuman when he jumped to Lanka. And he spoke about all the different monkeys who were there, and they were all having a conversation, who can jump to Lanka, and they're all saying, well, I can jump this way. And Prabhupada quoted this poem, big monkey, big belly, Ceylon jumping, melancholy. Big monkey, big belly. You know, so there's so many big devotees with big bellies. But when someone genuine like Hanuman is able to jump all the way to Lanka, then melancholy, we become very unhappy. We become very sad. Now my prestige has become minimized by this other person. And because we have this desire, as Bhaktivinoda Thakur was saying, Ami Bodho Bhakta, O Acharya. I want to be a big devotee. I want to be an Acharya. So we'll speak more about this on Wednesday. And I want to thank everybody for taking part. I'd like to encourage everybody to join our Zoom discussion and also turn on your mics so that I can see you and maybe make some comments or something there. So we'll continue more on Wednesday. Thank you all very much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki